And pull up a chair, episode 45. I do believe we are live. Big interval episode, episode 45. A little bit of a vampire session going on over here on the live. It's about 12:45 Eastern Time, EST. It's about 10:45 where my wife's at. So I'm holding down the inspiration station, the Thunderdome to myself for the weekend. So let's just get into some pull up a chair madness. Normally on Friday nights, I'd be getting ready to call my good brother Doom, KRS3. Wife would be just going to sleep. However, it's a vampire session pull up a chair. We haven't had one of these since one of the very first episodes. So this is going to be interesting because I get to do something on this pull up a chair episode that I don't typically do on pull up a chair because, well, quite frankly, it's midday or it's right before the battle and I don't feel like being sauce Welka by fucking 10 p.m. So I get to have a couple Prost cheers beers with you guys. I don't know where that accent came from, nor what that is. That sounded like some Assassin's Creed Valhalla type shit. So excuse my French on that. Let's just dive right into it. But before I dive right into it, just in case you don't know this ugly mug, let me put a name to the face. Prost, good brother. It is your good brother, El Tente, the ultimate motherfucking sensei, the one who, of course, taught Bruce Lee everything he motherfucking knows, a.k.a. Space Mountain Stoney, a.k.a. Stony Montana, a.k.a. Young Dumbledore, the lyrical wizard, a.k.a. Bed Burgundy. Why? Because they snoo on your boy, a.k.a. Mr. Keep the Love High and the motherfucking hate low, baby. Call me what you will, just don't call me broke or sad. Please, that's all I ask of you. So let's just dive right into it. This will probably be a quick pull up a chair. Don't want to drag it on too long. Do want to enjoy some brews, though. Make sure to get out everything that I want to say about what I saw during the week. You guys tell me what you thought about what you saw during the week. We have a blast. We have fun. Let me know in the comments if you're not watching it live. Once again, I understand. I do know it is late, so thank you for being tuned in. See, good brother, Big Boss 20. I know who you are. I think I've mentioned your name a couple times already. If you know, you know. And I thank everybody for being tuned in afterwards. Tomorrow we got a big, important episode of Sleepless Radio, one that by the end of it will most likely bring a thug tear to my eye, with it being Queen versus Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne winners bracket 150. How better do you write it? And let's just dive right into it. One of the things that I put in the headline of the episode, so I don't want to just come off as clickbaity. Let's dive right into it so people don't have to skim right through. Let's dive right into the pink tape. Look at that little segue. So the segue comes from the first episode that we ever did on Sleepless Radio in 2020, March 2020. I have that at the end of the month. It was Lil Uzi versus Playboi Carti, and God Almighty, me and Dooley, we had no idea what we were doing. We just had an idea. There was a somewhat of a template at the time. I mean, the only thing I feel like that we kept from that original template was 3 judges and the way it's mapped out. The one who starts, then you counter, and then whoever counters, well, then they start the next round. And I think it's oddly fitting that Eternal and Take dropped right before the first episode. And now, right before episode 150, the pink tape drops. I don't know. Everything happens for a reason. Time isn't real. Take with that what you will. Prost. So to address every awkward silence that I take when I drink my beer, I'm going to say Prost. Pink Tape, though. I'm going to go to that right now. That is an album that I've listened to now twice in full, which didn't expect to say that, but blessed to be able to say that because my old jobs wouldn't have allowed me to do so. But I actually really enjoyed it. I know that I'm not really I'm not the Uzi go-to guy. If you want to know everything Uzi or ask me if something's good or not, let me be the deciding fate on it. But just as a listener, I think the cover art's great. That's always first W for me before I even hear a morsel. Also, another thing that helped me, which I didn't even realize it until it happened. I don't know how it avoided me, but I never heard I Don't Want to Rock or I Just Want to Rock. I never heard that before. So that was like a whole fresh listen. And it actually wasn't even one of my favorite records on it. But I know the song did well, but I think Uzi overall, I think he dropped a project that's not going to be looked at as not worth the wait. But now I think we don't want to wait much longer if you're a big Uzi fan. Because I don't know if this is the one that really quenches the thirst after all that time. However, though, 26 tracks, I believe it or not, I added 12. I added Flooded the Face. I added Suicide Doors. I added Amped. I added Died and Came Back, which I actually thought he got some shit off on there. Track 8, Spin Again. Track 9, That Fire. Thought that was catchy. 10, I Gotta. I thought that was catchy as well. But then here's where it gets a little interesting for me. He goes on a couple track run here. I mean, granted, it's not every single one, but between track 11 and track 18, I think is where he really really caught fire. Endless Fashion with Nicki Minaj, I think that has the best feature combo with the OG. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, the stomp. Yeah, okay, it's that stomp. I think that's what threw me off, is because like I had it in my pod at work, so like I'm hearing that and I'm like, fuck, is that? I don't know. I thought maybe it was like a remix or some sort of TikTok upbeat version of it that I heard. I wasn't quite sure, to be honest. I'm outdated at times. Endless Fashion, though, with Nicki, I thought that was the best feature standout. Like, I know Nicki's had a couple features recently where I'm like, hey, you know I'm a barb, but that's A minus. We expect A plus, and this was A plus. I have to watch what I say there because God knows I don't want to trigger them because I am one of them. So I know what it takes. I know it takes very little. I love the barbs. However, though, that leads right into what I think is the standout track on it. I think this is the one that you build the video around. Again, fuck do I know. I think this is what you build the video around. I think this is what the A&R is there. This is what they should be getting on. This is what they should be marketing right now as the hit, the single. I think after Just Wanna Rock, you should give the single to Mama, I'm Sorry. Mama, I'm Sorry, super catchy. The 2 samples that he used got cleared, I'm assuming, or he wouldn't have used them. And I'm sure the one wasn't hard to clear anyways. So what I think really jumped out at me about the Mama I'm Sorry is, one, it instantly sounds like a hit. Like I'm already singing along to it. I think that might be a hit. I think he might have one with that. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. Would be a little bit surprised if he didn't. His 2 samples that he uses are Somebody That I Used to Know, which I forget who that's by. I want to say the artist name was like Goyte. But Somebody That I Used to Know is what he starts the song off sampling. And then a minute in, he flips Love Sosa. I thought that was really cool. Okay. Oh, so I flipped the Y and the T. Gotcha. Thank you for filling me in. Knew I kind of probably had that fucked up. Been a long time since I seen that name, but it's just what popped in my head. But yeah, I thought that was really good. And then when he used the Love Sosa sample, I mean, come on now. You know, I'm a sucker for that. You know, I got to like my Eddie Cigarero. And then right after Mama I'm Sorry, which love Mama I'm Sorry. But right after Mama I'm Sorry goes to track 14 where he sampled a WWE wrestler's theme song, Shinsuke Nakamura. And the record's actually called Nakamura. And when I first went to the album and I saw that, I'm like, okay, because I did get the heads up a little bit. I saw on Twitter scrolling through that like it sampled him. But I'm thinking, like, what part of the sample did you use? And in my head, I'm like, man, if he used that like guitar riff that Rick Boogs did, man, that's dangerous. And I think that might be onto something there too, because WrestleMania is in Philadelphia next year. So I'm calling this one ahead of time. In fact, I can't give me the full credit on this one. Got to give a little bit to Duel Santana, Big Dooley, when he tunes in, because I know he'd be smacking me in the face if I didn't credit him on this. He was the first one who said it. WrestleMania in Philly next year, Uzi brings Nakamura out and he performs Nakamura. Crowd goes nuts. Because like he actually, like he doesn't flip that one. He just sings over it. Absolutely brilliant. Shinsuke's theme is one of the ones that gets the crowd hooked. Great record. That's actually another one of my favorites on there. And then I added track 17, which is CS, which is where he samples the infamous System of a Down's record Chop Suey. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, I didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. Like, that one I didn't get the heads up on. So as soon as I hear the infamous drum line come in, so to speak, and then he cuts into the hook, I'm like, wow, he's really going for it. Can't believe I'm saying it, though. Fuck it. If you're going to sample it, that's probably the only way you can go about it and make something of that, because I thought that was really fucking good. I thought that was really fucking good. I didn't think he got enough credit for that so far. I don't see that being one of the standout joints. I think people are just kind of a little bit more caught off guard. But that's CS. I think that might be something special for him. Then the last track I added off the pink tape was Werewolf featuring Bring Me the Horizon, which was a group that I grew up with a lot in middle school. Liked them a lot as well, early high school. Always got love for Bring Me the Horizon. I think they had a great joint in there. And yeah, overall, I mean, I think Uzi delivered. Like I said, is it what I think everybody might have been waiting for? Like, for example, if I was doing the battle again tomorrow night, I might look at this and go, okay, what do I got? I got Endless Fashion, I got Mama, I'm Sorry, and I got Nakamura. Besides those three, I don't know what I truly got, like, so far at least. But, oh, and I Just Want to Rock, which I guess I'd have to use that by default. But I don't know though. I think as an Uzi, as a casual, I guess you could say a little bit above casual Uzi fan, because I do know this much about Uzi too. When he first started on SoundCloud, that shit was different. That shit was really different. That was like rapping over almost like DJ drama rap. Like he's actually getting bars off and shit. We're like, not that he's not getting his shit off now, because like I think he's got a lot of catchy bars. Pink Tape's definitely a check out. I'd actually throw it under the highly recommend. I think there's definitely some joints in there to definitely peep. Not a top tier highly recommend, but it's definitely something I would say to check out. Flying High EP came out by The Alchemist, which don't forget, we'll get back to Uzi. This is just new music reviews. We'll get back to Uzi. But Flying High EP came out with The Alchemist. And Alk, I love you. I love you, Alk. Love you. I think your legacy is one of the best as far as producers go all time. However, though, I love that. I love the production. I just think that the music, maybe the records weren't just all there for me. Maybe I need to keep giving it some more listens. I've given it a couple already. I mean, it's definitely an easy listen, just going through a couple tracks. Midnight Oil with Larry June, though, and then Out coming in at the end. That's something special. That's fucking amazing. But I did add 1, 4, and 5. So I got the Midnight Oil, I got the instrumental, and then I got R.I.P. Tracy with Earl Sweatshirt, because anything Earl Sweatshirt does has to be added to my phone like it's fucking U2. So just how it works. Currency and Harry Fraud dropped Vice's album, which I added 4 joints off that. I think Currency delivered a solid project. I think Good Brother Doom said it best to me yesterday when we were talking about it. I think it's definitely a solid project, not one of Currency's standouts. But the 4 that I added was Stingray with Benny the Butcher. But damn, I just wish Benny's verse was longer. Prost. I just wish Benny's verse was longer on that. Marcus Camby featuring Jim Jones. Jim Jones' Streets thought Rome Streets did his thing. And typically, I'm not actually the biggest fan of Rome Streets. Always respect his craft, though. But I think he really stood out on this 86 Testarossa. Currency definitely did his thing. But then my favorite standout joint on Vices would be called The Warehouse, track 8, the one that closes it out. Think Harry Fraud, that's the best beat on the album in my book. That thing's knocking. Currency's doing his thing, sliding over it in only a way that he can, making it sound like a lowrider on a highway. Absolutely beautiful joint. Vices is definitely something I would say check out. Before I get into the re-releases that came out, trying to make sure I didn't overlook anything, let me go to the browse, because I know besides just the stuff that I listen to, I want to make sure I cover everything that other people I think might be listening to as well. Rilo Rodriguez did drop a new album that I did add 1 joint off of, but I did not check out the whole thing. I went feature hunting on that one. The one that I added was track 4 featuring Lil Baby, but he's got some people. On track 2, he's got ESTG, which I thought that sounded good. I just didn't add it. Real Tight with Lil Baby, where Lil Baby definitely slid. Room Comfort, which was Friday and somebody else. I actually did not check that one out. But then he has Taylor Port Junkie with Lil Yachty, and I thought Lil Yachty sounded really good on that. Then he had No Cap on Thing For You, and he had Lil Pop on Exhausted. Exhausted. Gotcha. Fuck him. Thing For You featuring No Cap. Yeah, this is why we're not made for kids YouTube show, because I just don't have a filter. God damn it. But Weekend and Lil Baby dropped False Idols as a 2-pack thing for the finale of The Idols, episode 5. Thank God, stick a fork in it. We'll get to that later as well. Like a God, and that was The Weekend alone. And then we had False Idols with Susanna's son, Lil Baby, and The Weekend, which I actually did add False Idols. I thought that was pretty good. Oh, I saw V's dropped an album. From what I checked out, again, very little. I checked out 7 Sixers, which was Babyface Ray and somebody else that I forget the name. Then the Boat interlude with Lil Yachty, but supposedly, according to Twitter, Lil Yachty's verse got cut short. So that's something that I think may have played a little bit of a factor in it, because I liked it. It just didn't seem like it, kind of seemed more like an interlude thing. Then on track 21, it was the GOMD remix, not the remix of the Cole song. And it was featuring the great Lil Uzi. He's having a day, man. Damn, he's got a whole bunch of shit out. But I thought that was a really good record, though. And I believe on singles, that would leave us to our singles. But before we get to singles, there was one re-release of a project that happened, today, depending on what time zone you're in, I guess. But yesterday, my time, would be Red Corolla, Damo Genesis. Now, I'm so glad to see these records from 10 years ago. Like, I saw Flatbush Zombies announce Better Off Dead's coming out, re-release in September. You got the 10th anniversary, watching movies. Man, the nostalgia hits. Because I remember when these projects first came out, and if it doesn't feel like 400 and 100,000 years ago, I don't know what does. But when I hear Red Corolla and it gets to track 3 and gets to D's Nuts, I almost want to look over here at the bar and go, is there something I should see crushed up over there that hasn't been there in about 8 years? Fuck. But I think that's what makes it so great, though, is because when I listen to that music, without doing any of those things, it can just take me right back to there, and I can go, oh, yep, I remember where I was when I first heard that. And Palm Trees and Red Corolla came out in the same weekend. What? Like, Watching Movies came out a couple weeks before, and then Mac Miller and Vince Staples dropped Stolen Youth. Like, when you look back on it, it's like when I hear a project like Red Corolla, it just takes me back to that time of going to Dat Piff on a Friday or a Tuesday or a Saturday, and at random just being like, oh, Damo dropped a new tape. And then you make it 2 tracks in and you go, oh, of course, fire. Like, what do we expect? But my standouts on that's definitely a highly recommend. That's definitely a highly recommend. If you guys haven't had the honor or pleasure to check out that project, or maybe just never heard about it, never got around to it, never was an Odd Future fan, Damo Genesis does not sound like Earl Sweatshirt. Damo Genesis does not sound like Tyler, and he certainly doesn't sound like Frank Ocean. What he sounds like is somebody that's got bars. As Funk Flex would say, bars. And he fucking delivers every single time. And Damo Genesis, when I saw him live on the Genesis tour, when he dropped that album, and he had that single with Anderson Dapper, great show, good vibes, energy, flawless, anything you name it positive, it was it. And it was just an overall great experience, great show. And if he comes around again, I'm definitely catching it. But D's Nuts, What It Means, Slow Burn. Always my favorites off of that. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. Now let's dive into the singles. All right, speaking of re-releases, and I just mentioned their name, Palm Trees is now re-released 10 years later by Flatbush Zombies on all DSPs. Prost. And I know I have the Palm Trees live version from when they uploaded their Tiny Desk set to Apple Music and all DSPs as well. But hearing that original version, though, hearing Michi come in with the lions never lose sleep over opinions of sheep. See, if I didn't have my Steve-O voice too bad and blown out my voice in the past 2 weeks, I could probably still do that pretty good. If I had the beat going, I'm sure I could. But you know me, don't mind embarrassing myself. No shame here. Prost. Hey, you can never hate on me because I went for it. But that was always great to hear. Seeing that 10 years later back on DSPs for the first time is awesome. Never thought I'd see it happen. Yeah, I did. And thought it would be great. Can't wait for Better Off Dead to hit all DSPs as well. Another single that came out, TDE's own Lance Skywalker He had a great song come out today called Just Like. I know that's kind of I know I'm kind of very hipster with that one, but you know me, I like to put on for the underground. I think Lance Skywalker's criminally underappreciated. In fact, he's got a lot of joints that he's produced that you probably wouldn't have expected or even known that he did. Like he produced like half a Blank Face LP for Schoolboy, and like no one knows that. And I just always kind of thought that was like the craziest thing. I remember he also had Nez and Rio heavy on that project as well, but that's beside the point. But Lance Skywalker, I also know he did a lot of production for J-Rock early on, but his song Just Like came out today. Thought he did his thing on that. Thought that was definitely really solid. And the other single now that really, really jumped out at me. Here comes a capital HIGHLY recommend. Put this as the Tuker pick of the week as far as singles go. Album wise, I would say Pink Tape, but above Pink Tape, this would be my official Tuker's Choice highly recommendation of the week. Dangerous Derringer, which is Sauce Walka and Conway the Machine, produced by Derringer. The beat's crazy. The beat's knocking. Sauce Walka had an original version on his YouTube from a couple months ago. And then now that they've announced the tour and re-put out the new dates, now that Conway's healing from his torn tibia, they put out a record together where now Conway hopped on the beat. Sauce goes first. He I could tell, remixed a little bit of it. Conway comes in, smacks the bitch crazy for like a minute and a half. That is my highly recommendation of the week. Like I said, all caps on that one. Can't wait to hear that record go off live. I better be almost done with the beer, else somebody's getting beer splashed on them, and I'm going to probably end up getting hit as I would deserve to. But that record just goes crazy, man. I'm banging my head up against the fucking neck rest in the cart. Hey, yo. I don't know if that's an ayo, but I'm still just fucking rocking out, fucking jamming to that shit, because that beat is crazy. Sauce is barring. Conway's barring. I'm definitely going to maybe have to get in a little bit of jotting down to that one at some point, because good God almighty, I mean, that's just a special beat. That's already off rip one of my favorite Derringer beats. That's my favorite Sauce Walka song off rip. The replay value is crazy. Could not stand by that record anymore. But that leads us to our music news. That leads us to our fun. So I bigged up Uzi, mentioned the Pink Tape, mentioned how I do think it's a really solid project. However, though, now I got to, because it is a podcast, I got to talk about Uzi's bullshit, and let's have a little bit of fun with it, because there's something about this JT Uzi beef, or not Uzi beef, my bad, Uzi relationship fight, as relationships tend to have fights at different times over various different reasons, of course. However, this JT Uzi situation, damn it if I didn't feel him a little bit and relate to it as far as being in the doghouse goes, because let me tell you, I'm a regular at the doghouse. They know my name. They know the face when I walk in. They write it down for me. They give me the key card and I go and check into my room. So JT, let's take it from the top. As I always like to say, let's take it from the top so you know all the information. The information's all on the table. Everybody take a good cheers if you're sipping one, smoking one, whatever you may be doing. A Prost. So, if you take this from the root, about 2 weeks ago, a couple records leaked from the Pink Tape. But it was only, as far as I knew, one line. But it was Uzi saying something about the bitch looks like Ice Spice. She has curls. She looks nice. She looks like Ice Spice or whatever. Or she has curls. She looks like Ice Spice. So then, in fact, let me pull up the bar. I think I might even have the bar. If he posted the lyrics, I have the bar. Yeah, there is lyrics. Okay, let's find this thing. Because this lyric is crazy. There it is. Okay. Let's just read this one, shall we? So before I actually read it, I'm gonna just catch you up on the whole story. So at the beginning, the record leaks, as I said. A couple records leak. And as far as I knew, the only line that had leaked at the time was she had a little fro. She looked like Ice Spice. So I'm thinking, like, okay, you mentioned Ice Spice. You might think that she's cute. I don't know if I'm trying to come from the JT angle. Because then, so that record leaks. They go to the BET Awards. Uzi's sitting next to her at the BET Awards. Ice Spice snaps a picture. Now, the thing is that you got to look at this thing almost like I guess you could say you could almost look at it like a nasty bonfire that was a little bit too close to the woods and you didn't really exactly plan on it. It just kind of ended up happening that way. And everybody was lit and didn't realize it happened. So you got JT in one corner from the City Girls, who pretty sure her and Uzi have been dating for a while. As far as I know, Uzi's had a bunch of different rumors about a whole bunch of different things come out. Quite frankly, I lost track of it a long time ago. The only thing with it, though, is he has the bar leak. He takes this picture with Ice Spice. Well, Ice Spice takes the picture of them. Apparently, somehow, some way, I don't know if Ice Spice posted it right away, somehow, some way, JT gets wind of it right away. So that spills out into JT then coming up once the show's kind of winding down, wrapping up as far as I knew, and throwing a phone at Uzi. And let me tell you, this ain't just no average motherfucking throw I saw. The first one comes at like a overhand, like you're trying to spike the volleyball for the win. But then it's the second throw that really intrigues me, though. So the second throw really intrigues me because they only throw the phone a second time if there's a second reason. And that's the one that hasn't been talked about yet. Boom! As somebody that's had a couple of phones thrown at him in their heyday, a phone thrown at me actually not too long ago. There's a lot of things that go into the phone throw because the phone throw, if she threw a beer at him, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. If she throws a goddamn White Claw, this isn't even a story nobody even talks about. White Claw goes all over the place. Maybe it spills on her friend. Nothing really comes of it. It's just a White Claw. What makes the phone important is nobody, and especially a female, throws their phone with the risk of breaking it just to prove how mad they are. Once you've crossed the phone line where your phone or her phone, a phone's being thrown, that means shit's on. That means when you do finally get in that doghouse, if you can actually make it in there and come out alive, you're going to feel like you're in the fucking shoe. You're going to feel like you're in fucking solitary doing 23 an hour, maybe get a half hour in the courtyard with some macaroni salad. Looks like it fucking washed up on a Sunday driveway. This shit, you're going to be in there real quick, buddy. Coffee maker pulled out of the fucking socket, Wi-Fi cut off, boot on the whip, fucking rabbit ears on the fucking TV stand. Watch it, buddy. That's where you are. In fact, if he's not there already, that's why I'm surprised he didn't push the album back because I don't know how this press run's going to work out. Oh, hey, look, I got a moth. Somebody actually did pull up to co-host. We do got the moth here. Cool. Besides that, it's just me, myself, and all my demons and Emperor Zurg over here with my great pup Ray, a.k.a. the great Ray Gunchino. Prost. But yeah, the way she throws that phone, though, the first time, like I said, volleyball spike. But then when her friend picks up the phone, which great friend, by the way, picks up the phone, goes, hands it back to her, she throws it again. That's why I said, man, that first throw was, fuck you for taking that picture with Ice Spice, which, let me talk about the picture with Ice Spice. Why the picture with Ice Spice is important, I get it. Some people that might not know, might not be familiar with how that might work out. This is what happens with with what I see there being the relationship guy. Because usually whenever we talk about anything relationship-wise on this show, it always comes down to usually the single guy perspective. This comes down to the relationship guy perspective. There was two things that went wrong in that Ice Spice photo. One of them was actually more wrong than the other, and it's not the one that you'd expect. What went wrong in the Ice Spice photo, one, the minor mistake, was that Ice Spice had those fucking perkies perking out like fucking Future's Perk 30s because that thing was bussing. And that didn't look good for him at all whatsoever. But the thing that looked worse, the thing that even looked worse than the perkies perking, was the fact that his phone was facing down. Let me tell you something, men. If you're in a relationship and this goddamn phone faces down, you'll be in the doghouse by sunrise. Bet I said it. Either that or it's going to be a fight, some sort of an argument that will come up because it's why is your phone face down? Especially when you're taking the picture with Ice Spice when you just said on record, bad bit, or she had a little fro, she looked like Ice Spice. It's just not a good look. But back to the friend who picks up the phone, hands it to JT. JT then goes, I threw it overhand like a fucking volleyball. This time you're getting the wah like it's a fucking softball and I'm going for the win in the World Series. That phone hit. Now that's the one that stung. And then the next day she's over here. Oh, you like to take pictures. Oh, you like to take pictures. Man, that doghouse. That backslider's got a fucking board jammed into it. He can't even go out for a fucking smoke. Telling you, man, it's rough. I saw a rumor that like maybe they might be good now as of like a couple hours ago. So maybe this is old news. But hope that they are good. Hope that it gets worked out. And hey, Uzi ended up in the doghouse. He took the 2 phone throws. Seemed to walk off with possibly what I think will become a #1 album, which I did want to say that about that as well. I think for the first time this year, calling it now, the #1 hip-hop album, the first one to go #1 this year, the one to dethrone Morgan Wallen, will be Lil Uzi with the pink tape. Calling it right now, and in fact, if I were to do a sales count, I think he'll do about 185K. I know Maul said 183. Well, I'm going 2K over him. I'm going 185K. Yeah, so I think Uzi kind of overall came out pretty much unscathed. By the way, I saw that her friend JT, which I think there's somebody in here that gets underappreciated in this whole story if you follow it top to bottom. It's that friend of JT because she picks the phone up once, brings it back to her, bah, throws it again at him. She grabs it again, but when she grabs it again, if you notice in the video, it's right at the end. She gives JT this look like, bitch, that's only the 2 you get. You throw that phone again, you ain't seeing that phone again. And you know what? That's a loyal friend, and that's a real friend. That's why I think she's criminally underappreciated in this whole thing. But before I leave off on it, there was one bar that he said throughout this whole thing that I think when you hear the bar in full, I don't think this smooths it over anything for him. And I don't know, maybe this record should have been left off. Let's just take it from the top, though. I'll do my narration voice. Got ice to the brim, it's crushed. Fucking on mean sluts. I got a nice wife. I'm fucking the dog shit out this bitch. Her wig came off twice. Not once, but twice. She had a lil fro. She looked like Ice Spice. She called me little bro. Hey, yo. Anybody bar check Uzi on that? Am I reading this right? I got a nice wife. I'm fucking the dog shit out this bitch. Her wig came off twice. She had a little fro. She looked like Ice Spice. She called me little bro. That's just weird, man. Fucking on models in Vogue. Man, they playing. They thought I was gay. But I do not know how Vogue. Spin again, just spin again. Pull up in a fishbowl. Yeah, Shakespeare, what do you got on that, pussy? Nothing. John Lennon walked so easy could run. Fuck is that, Paul McCartney? Step up to the plate. She call him little bro. Let it go, let it be. You ain't gonna match that, bum. Yeah, so the part where he said fucking the dog shit out that bitch, how he got that one off and still has his head attached to his neck, I don't know. Because I would be 60 feet deep swimming with the fucking 5 victims of the Titanic Perk 30. Because that thing, I don't know how he got that bar off, and I don't know how they thought they were going to get underground. But the other thing I did want to mention, though, as far as music goes, two things before I get into the BET Award recap. Travis Scott will not face any charges from the Astro World Fest per grand jury. Yeah, Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, come on. Romeo and Juliet? How about Lil Uzi and JT? City Girls and Lil fucking City Girls and the one they call the GOAT. Romeo and Juliet? Come on. Nobody even knows who you are. Nobody even knows your last names. What were their last names? No one knows. He didn't write that in, did he? That's because he walked so Lil Uzi could just fucking rock. But yeah, Travis Scott won't face charges from Astro World Fest per grand jury, which, depending on how you feel about that, I mean, I guess it's just time we just move on from it. And I do think he should have been held accountable in some ways, but I guess it kind of happened without it ever actually showing because Astro World got delayed. He was having to delay his festival for years. I mean, I think overall, if it's on his conscience, it's on his conscience. It is what it is. That's up to him. I can't decide how he feels on that. But that is something I did want to throw out. Another thing I wanted to throw out for the Kid Cudi fans and just it being a Cleveland thing, unfortunately a sad Cleveland thing, excuse me, Moon Man's Landing, Cudi's festival that was going to happen for the second time, was unfortunately canceled because the city of Cleveland will not approve. And I kind of thought that was unfortunate. I thought he deserves better than that for everything he's done for the city. Granted, I know the whole him moving to New York thing, but I always got love for Cudi, and he's always showed love for Cleveland as well. And it's unfortunate they won't let him approve it because as far as I know Dooley went last year, and I heard nothing but great things. I heard it was a good turnout. Things went well. Nobody was harmed. People were smiling and having a good time. So why they want to shoot that down, I just don't know. But I did see as an update, he said, that even if next year he has to move it like an hour away, he'll do so. And it looks like he'll definitely accommodate. I know he's big on his supporters. But I did just want to give a quick BET Awards recap as well. I wanted to give a shout out to one of the winners that won multiple times throughout the night. And I wanted to give a shout out to the Lifetime Achievement winner. So first, I wanted to make sure that I had the awards down that she won. So I made sure to take screenshots of them because I think it's very well deserved. For the BET Awards, the three wins that really stood out to me. For Best Female R&B Pop Artist winner, it went to SZA. For Video of the Year winner, it went to Kill Bill, SZA. And for Album of the Year winner, it went to SOS, SZA from TDE. And now I believe she is definitely the front runner for that label, as she should be. Her and I think it would be probably Q on the male side, I guess. And I think her album, when I do my year-end recap, she's coming up for sure. Actually, no, I think I included it last year, so it wouldn't end up falling into this one. But SOS, the replay value is insane. Hot take, which I'd like to dive into it on a later episode when we have Dual Santana here. But I've been saying I would give it to so you said that. Nice. You said Album of the Year was a tie, says there Beyonce. Yeah. Beyonce Renaissance says SOS. I mean, hey, the females have been showing out. 2 immaculate albums, 2 great albums. That SOS, though, I can't wait till I have Dooley here, Dual Santana. I want to argue Control versus SOS with him. I think that'd be a really fun argument. I know we've done it a little bit. We've teased it, but we haven't actually dove fully into it on the pod. I think SOS will be better over time than Control, but those are 2 classic projects as well. I just wanted to give a quick Sleepless Radio, pull up a chair, round of applause for fucking SZA for getting those 3 dubs because it is definitely much deserved. And then I got to hold up a beer for the Lifetime Achievement winner. A man that I am blessed to be able to say that I will see August 7th at Blossom Music Center. You can count on that. I'm outside seeing the BET Lifetime Achievement Award winner, the great Busta Rhymes, the one and only Prost. Yeah, dude. And there's nobody that deserves it better than Busta Rhymes. Promise I won't overdo it. But there's nobody that deserves it better than Busta Rhymes. Think his career's been absolutely amazing. He helped pioneer the hip-hop feature. something that was almost unheard of before he started doing them. The hip hop feature wasn't quite what it was until Busta Rhymes started making it that relevant. And I didn't even realize it until he set it up there. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Is he capping? And I thought back and I was like, no, the fuck he ain't. That is Busta Rhymes talking the motherfucking truth right there. And he absolutely deserved that Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, as far as I don't even know if I want to call him fast rap, but just his delivery, it's one of a kind. You're never going to hear that Busta Rhymes delivery again. Because you can hear him do a Look at Me Now, and then you can hear him do a Fly on the Wall feature for J-Rock's album 90059 and go, okay, well, now what the fuck? Because it's just how good Busta Rhymes is, and he's incredible. And that speech that he did when he came out, and I always say this, it's okay to be emotional. I know in hip-hop, it's hip-hop especially, in really any form of the industry, you don't want to be too emotional. Fuck that. That was a Lifetime Achievement Award win, and that video promo package they put together for him and the intro from Marlon Wayans, and to hear him come out there and then go, yeah, so I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve here for a minute. He goes, yeah, I want to cry. And damn it, if when I watched that live, I didn't want to, in fact, fuck it, I did. I started crying with him a little bit, a couple thug tears, just a couple, because it's like, man, that's one of those careers that is, as I include the rapper myself every once in a while. That was somebody that I definitely originally looked up to. Like, man, if I could do something like that would be awesome. And man, Busta Rhymes, who does anybody deserve it more? Once again, Sleepless Radio, pull up a chair, round of applause. Absolutely love Busta Rhymes. Think it was most definitely well deserved. And can't wait to see him August 7th open for 50. I think it's going to be, of course, a great set. Looking so forward to it. Think it's going to be absolutely awesome. And can't wait to see what records he picks and can't wait to see the set. So on that note, that will lead us and pivot us into, let's see, where do I want to go? It's up to me. Let me get sports off the board. I saw that there's been a bunch of off-season moves going on in the NBA. Let's see who we got here. I actually just sent a few to me just to make sure I go over them, so I'm not too far behind here with y'all. We got, I know I saw Gabe Vincent went somewhere. He signed a 3-year deal. Okay, so Cam Johnson agreed to a 4-year, $108 million deal with the Nets. God damn. Cam Johnson's worth $108 million? You sat on the waiver wire in my fantasy league the whole year. When's he worth that much? What do those comments look like? Let's read the comments. I could make $2 million in the NBA with the way these contracts are getting handed out. He said, nah, bench players getting max deals is nuts. Holy overpay. Okay, so see? I guess I'm right then. I didn't even know. I thought maybe, fuck, is there something about Cam Johnson I don't know? So yeah, they're paying him $108 million. I'm actually reacting to this in live time. I just saw Cam Johnson agreed to something, and I was like, well, I should probably read that off. Damn. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought overpaid. Yeah, because what the fuck? Gabe Vincent has agreed on a 3-year, $33 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. That should actually be pretty beneficial for them, actually, now that I think about it. What do people think about that? Let's read that off. Prost. $11 million per year for a dude that had a few good games during playoffs. Another on the long list of Miami developed players who go on to do nothing. Doesn't seem like many people agree with him, though. He's got 99 replies. Rob Pelinka has been cooking since last year's trade deadline. Man went from the most hated GM to the really most hated GM. Oh, that's kind of funny. That's pretty good. Didn't expect it to go that way. Oh, I saw Jalen Rose got let go of his ESPN contract. Yeah, I think that might be... I saw Kyrie re-sign to the Mavericks, thank God, because if not, he was going to go to the fucking Phoenix Suns, and I was never going to watch basketball this year. Man, when I saw Kyrie was getting ready to go to the Suns, if he went to the Suns, I was going to go in on it. But since he re-signed with the Mavs, I won't go in on it. But The only thing I'll say, and I'll talk about it on a later episode when I have somebody to riff off of in the Thunderdome. I'm not the super team fan, man. That shit gets old. That shit gets old. So at least I'm glad that Kyrie re-signed with the Mavs, even though now I don't know what that means for Doncic because those two can't work together at all. Those two get along like fucking Hitler and fucking uh, Jeff Goldblum. I don't know. That's the first Jew I could think of, oddly enough, and I'm not even positive he's Jewish, so I'm sorry if I offended any Jewish listeners. Please forgive me. I don't mean to come off insensitive. I don't. And on that note, that would mean let's go wrestling. Let's go pro wrestling. So now that we have the full card of Money in the Bank, we have the full entire card. Let me dive into it and let me go match for match so that we can get this sorted out. Because last week, I think I missed a match, and then they added one this week. So let's just get it all out in one. But I think maybe one or two of my predictions changed from last week. Let's see. Oh, man, they post stuff all the time. All right, here we go. First match. Gunther versus Matt Riddle. Money in the Bank for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, if you buy into it, excuse me a second. If you buy into it that Randy Orton's going to come back and turn on Matt Riddle and have Matt Riddle lose that way, which would be in an unfair way to Gunther, well, you can believe that if you'd like, but I don't. I think they only do one return at Money in the Bank, and it's certainly not going to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton will, if anything, return at SummerSlam, because I did see he's nearing a return. So if he does return, it would be at SummerSlam, I would assume. I don't see him returning in this match and turning on Riddle unless they immediately want to get him right back into being a fucking asshole and a heel. If they want to do that, then okay, maybe he'll return. But even at that, I don't know if they want to stack returns at Money in the Bank. But again, I'm just devil's advocate myself here. If they do, it's overseas, it's London, the overseas crowd, they like to get a big pop and like to get familiar faces. I could definitely see if that's the case, they want to turn Orton heel right away again, then he would come out and interrupt this match. But I think no matter what happens, Gunther easily retains. That's hands down, no decision. Hopefully it's a good match. That leads us to, let's see. God almighty, if they don't just post a shitload of shit on their fucking Instagram. They don't make it easy for me, but there it is. So we got we got the women's Money in the Bank match, then we got the men's Money in the Bank match. So it's, once again, I know I said it on last week's episode, but just to reiterate in case you're hearing it for the first time, Io Sky, Trish Stratus, Zoe Starks, Bayley, Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch. I think Io Sky wins that pretty easily. I don't see anybody else winning that. Do I see the Io Bayley split? Yes, which is unfortunate because I love Damage Control, but I do think Io takes that dub. Then you got, of course, Trish and Zoe trying to gang up on Becky. I don't think either of those three are going to win it. And Zelina, I love her from the LWO, but I still don't see her getting that dub. Then you got the men's Money in the Bank match, which now has a seventh man added to it as of last week, which this one's a little tough for me. You got Damian Priest, you got Butch, you got Santos Escobar, you got L.A. Knight, yeah! You got Shinsuke Nakamura, you got Logan Paul, and Ricochet. Well, hands down, easy, no matter what, this goes to Logan Paul or it goes to L.A. Knight. I saw reports that supposedly they don't want to give it to Logan. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's a classic WWE swerve. But supposedly they don't want to give it to Logan. I hate to say it, but Logan makes sense. However, if you want to go by how he should do it, LA Knight deserves this thing. He's extremely over. When I got home tonight, I did do a quick browse through SmackDown, and one of the segments I stopped on was the Grayson Waller effect, where LA Knight and Logan Paul cut their promos on each other. So that's, again, another reason I know it's one of those two. LA Knight totally kicked his ass in that promo. So that's a classic WWE move of being like, all right, let's put them in the ring together. Let them do a promo off. Who does the crowd react to more? Everybody in the crowd did the, yeah. So, and everybody fucking booed Logan. And it's like, yes, everybody booed Logan. That's a good heel. If you can, you put the briefcase on LA Knight. And I think LA Knight has a lot more fun with the briefcase and can cut a lot more promos. Because the thing that a lot of people forget about the briefcase, I swear to God, they do this every year. The thing with the briefcase for my pro wrestling fans out there, when they put the briefcase on you, it's a rocket ship. It's a rocket ship for your career because you get to do two things that are the most important for getting you over. When you have that briefcase, even if you don't have a match on Friday or Monday, in this case, when either of these guys win, for Logan, it would be on a Monday. For LA, it would be on a Friday. That means that no matter what, every single show, if they don't even have a match, they cut a promo because they have to threaten the other champions and make sure that they know that they're on the prowl. And they got this briefcase that says, no matter how worn down you are, no matter where you're at, no matter what happens, for the people that just watch us for other reasons, don't know the wrestling, to explain it, when you got that Money in the Bank briefcase, you can cash that in any point, anytime. It can be the end of a match, at the end of a pay-per-view, at the end of a Hell in the Cell match. You can cash that bitch in. And it's a rocket ship. I've seen it do it with many different people. I mean, so many people have prospered from it. Edge, RVD, CM Punk. I mean, John Cena was already cemented. Mr. Kennedy until he fucked it up. Otis, that's a one-off. That's an exception. That didn't work out. But still, I mean, it's still at the end of the day, you're a Money in the Bank winner. It means something. Miz made a whole legendary career run off of the Money in the Bank win. Like, it really is more important than people think. And I think if they really want to do this right, you put it on LA Knight because his promo work right now is. And when you get him in the ring, he's really good too. And it's been years and years in the making. Nobody deserves it but him, really, I think, in that match right now. And that's no knock to the other guys. Hey, Logan can compete. Logan can go. Logan's awesome. Logan's really good in the ring as far as being a wrestler goes. But do I think he deserves that briefcase on him yet? I'm going to have to agree with that Triple H firmer and go, no, I don't think he does. But unfortunately, it does make sense to me because he can tease Roman, which again, promo work, and he can reignite that feud with Seth Rollins, who oddly enough, I just watched on Snack Wars. And when it got to him trying out Prime, he goes, oh, come on, I can't try this. You know, it's from Logan Paul and KSI. So I think, man, it could go really either way on that. But my final pick, final answer, LA Knight. Got to go LA Knight on that. Speaking of Seth Rollins, we got a World Heavyweight Championship on the line. We got Seth Rollins versus the Judgment Day's own Finn Balor, which I think, depending on how that goes, could be a match of the night quality. Could definitely be a 5-star match between those two. I do believe Seth Rollins retains, but should be a great match. And I don't know if Finn's going to come out as the demon, but either way, we're in for a great match with that. Prost. We got Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. That's pretty wild because I don't know where in the card that's going to fall, but now that's a guaranteed return. So if you guys got my bookie, here's what you should bet on. That Dominic Mysterio is going to win by pinfall or countout because Cody Rhodes is going to be beat the fuck down because a ref's going to get knocked out somehow by Rhea Ripley, calling that now, because as far as I know, she doesn't have a match. So ref's going to be knocked out by Rhea Ripley, or at least distracted. Actually, no, not distracted. Knocked out by Rhea Ripley. Something's going to happen. And Brock Lesnar is going to absolutely demolish Cody and just let Dominic pick up the scraps. Maybe even hit him with a frog splash to end it. That's my expertise talking there, though. I think that's an easy call. I almost feel like I could call that thing 100%. No doubt in my mind that's how that one goes. I just don't see in what world that they're just going to let that match happen clear as day normal when we got a 1-to-1 Cody Brock feud going into what will be SummerSlam. And I just don't see that happening. I see them patching that up. And it's going to let Dominic Mysterio become a bigger heel because people hate seeing Dominic Mysterio get one over on somebody. And to see him win on the biggest babyface in the company right now, he might become the biggest heel in the company right now if he fucking keeps this up. And I originally started off as a Dominic Mysterio hater, but the in-ring work's getting there. It's getting there. But the gimmick and the character is most certainly there. And as I always say, as somebody that knows a thing or two about their pro wrestling, if you can't talk on that mic, then they don't give a fuck about what you do in that ring. That's just how that plays out. You don't get behind the guy or the girl, you don't get behind the in-ring work. I've seen it a million times. I've seen so many great Ricochet. Let's use Ricochet from the men's Money in the Bank. That man can fly off my roof and land on his feet in a tree in the middle of my woods. But he can't get over on the mic. And if you can't get over on the mic and you can't move merch up there, then you're not going to get the main event in the ring down here. That's just how that unfortunately goes in the realm of pro wrestling. But let me make sure I'm not forgetting any more matches. I don't think we got a U.S. title on the line. I don't think we got a women's title defense. I do believe... Oh, Bloodline Civil War. Their main event. Bloodline Civil War. This is the one that my pick can go back and forth on a little bit. It has throughout the week. I do it, especially after hearing their promo tonight on SmackDown. I actually think the Usos are going to win. I really do. I think the Usos are going to win. Final answer, I think the Usos win. And I think, can't believe I'm saying it, but Solo turns on Roman. I think maybe they're getting ready for that. Solo turns on Roman. I can't believe I'm saying it, but there was a certain look that Solo gave Roman tonight when Jay said that he thinks and Jimmy thinks that Solo should be the tribal chief. That just didn't sit right with me. I think the Usos might legitimately take that. But either way, Money in the Bank's going to be a fun pay-per-view. Just sucks that it comes on at 3 p.m. in the afternoon because it's London time. So it comes on at 3 p.m. We're going to catch that, obviously, before Sleepless Radio. So got to get all my errands out of the way in the morning before that goes on. Then the other thing I wanted to mention was I wanted to talk a little AEW with wrestling. For the gamers out there, I know I'm not the gamer that I used to be, but I got nothing but love and respect for all my gamers. I love you guys so much. In fact, I hope you guys lay out a second controller for me and I can game with y'all. Because damn it, I miss it. I really truthfully do. I miss playing my Gears. I miss playing my new WWE games and my sports games, man. I do. I miss it. But I get to feel the nostalgia vibe sometimes when I look back on all that shit. But the question that I wanted to ask for the viewers, I know a lot of you guys are gamers. Let me know what you guys think of the AEW game, Fight Forever, that just came out. I've seen some people say that it kind of plays out like early GameCube games with wrestling, like WrestleMania XIX. I've seen some people say that it plays out like early, like SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth. So I'm just kind of excited to see how that game plays out. Hopefully I get to try out some gameplay, let y'all know what I think. I know that game's been in the making now for like 2 years, so excited that they finally got it out. I know I come off like an AEW hater a lot, but anytime it's pro wrestling and it gets people jobs and they get to get in the ring and get to do their thing and it gets to be highlighted and broadcasted and you can check it out, I think that's a beautiful thing. Anytime anybody gets to share their craft and their art, prost and cheers to that. And yeah, I'm excited to see kind of how that game, like what the reviews go of it, because it seems like so far it's a little bit mixed. I know the graphics look a little bit but sometimes you can't go by the graphics. I mean, again, a lot of those early GameCube games, shit, if it plays out like WrestleMania XIX, I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be really cool. And it lets you get to play as some of your favorite wrestlers that aren't in the WWE anymore, and they're not going to let them use you. Speaking of some of your favorite AEW wrestlers, Daniel Bryan is officially out 6 to 8 weeks, possibly even more, because the injury looks now that it is worse than they originally thought, as far as what Brie Garcia, a.k.a. Brie Bella, posted on her Instagram. She said that she doesn't know if she should chastise him or be proud of him because it looks like he wrestled on not only a fractured arm. I'm no doctor, but based on the x-ray, it looks like he did something with his wrist too. So he's going to definitely be out more than the projected 6 to 8 weeks, at least I'd assume. But I do know the American Dragon is a dragon at that. So I know that he'll be trying to fire breathe and get his way back in there. I'm sure he's trying to get back in the ring already and trying to figure out some way somehow. I did see that Wrestling Purist posted that with his injury, it did throw off a lot of AEW's creative plans for him. So I know that's unfortunate for Tony Khan, especially when he's got a couple big shows coming up, especially that one in August, All Out in London at Wembley. I know he's really trying to show out for that. So hopefully Brian's healthy by then, and hopefully he can get back in there. I know if he is, he will. And I know I will end up checking out that pay-per-view because I'm sure the card's going to be stacked to the gills. But now we got to talk about some wrestling beef. Wrestling beef. Where is the beef? Well, here it is. So Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were reportedly having to be separated from CM Punk at the AEW Forbidden Door when they partnered with New Japan last Sunday. So as you guys all know, we've talked about it now multiple different episodes giving you guys the updates. But just in case you don't know, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and CM Punk, as of last September's media scrum, when CM Punk decided to call him about every name in the book and throw out the fucking curtain and go beyond the fourth wall and throw out people's actual personal business, they haven't been cool ever since. Well, there was speculation on, did they hash it out? There was a reported meeting with the Bucks and Punk. There was a reported backstage sighting with Omega trying to talk to Punk. And, well, at Forbidden Door, they literally had them on opposite sides of the building. And that goes to the point of, as much as I love CM Punk, and I really do like Kenny Omega, think he's great, one of the best wrestlers in the world, just pound for pound, move for move. I think you bring CM Punk back, but at what cost? That would be my thing with that I would say. And as always, with everything that I've said tonight, please give me some feedback. Let me know what y'all think, whether live or post, just because then I know kind of how I was gauging on it. As much as I love Punk, it's like, yeah, his work back so far has been pretty good. But, I mean, even at that, his first promo back, he was told not to go with the Young Bucks. And he said that line about, you know what he used to call me? One Bill Phil. Because I'm the one true, what did he say? I'm the one who keeps it 100 in a field of counterfeit bucks. And it's like, dude, you were literally just told 10 minutes ago. Like, I get it, like, creative control, whatever. Like, you want to go out there and say what you want to say. And, of course, they think you're going to address them. But, like, we all know that you guys don't get along. Like, we don't need you to reassure it in the ring that you guys don't get along. We know it. So, like, I feel like when you throw that shot, Tony Khan, like, I almost feel bad for Tony Khan in this sense because Tony's in the back like, dude, just told you 10 minutes ago we got to let this go. And you're out there now saying this shit, and I got Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks over here throwing a fucking hissy fit over it. Like, come on, fam. Like, hey, I'm all one for a pipe bomb, but, like, you got to stop spilling people's personal business in the ring. Like, I don't know. That we call that cheap heat. For those that don't know wrestling terms, that's cheap heat. Meaning you're just trying to get an easy rise out of them. That don't mean shit. Come on, you knew better than that. But hopefully Kenny Omega and the Bucks and Punk can hash this shit out somehow, some way. Because if we can get Punk and Omega in the ring, I'm sure Tony Khan knows what that means. Vince McMahon language. Casharino. Big time. Big time. Yeah, dude. TV movies to end us off with. Where do I want to start on TV movies? Got a couple things I want to talk about. Well, I mentioned it earlier on, and I said that we'd get to it, so let's get to it. The Idols, episode 5, is officially the ending mark for The Idols. The show is finito. Kaputs! The show's over. Close the curtain on it. It's over. Put a fork in it. Put a dagger in it. Old Yeller this thing. Put it out of its misery in the backyard and dig a hole. Put it 60 feet deep with me and fucking Uzi. This thing is fucking dunzo. I know last week I said I haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but I would. And I checked it out this week. And I didn't get fully caught up because I stopped on about halfway through episode 3, actually a little bit towards the end of episode 3. Y'all, there's a segment that I always like to say on this show called Highly Recommend. I wouldn't tell somebody to watch this unless they had a gun to their head telling them to do so. Me and Doom, good brother Doom, great friend of the show, family of the show at this point. He gave me the heads up and he's like, I'm letting you know, man, you're walking into a wildfire, but go into it with an open mind if you want to. And I tried. I like Weekend. I like the good brother Abel, but I don't know who thought that he was able to act this role because this shit was not for sure. This shit shouldn't have happened, man. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to be a porn star, is what I got out of the acting of this, because he's not trying to be a fucking Robert De Niro actor. There ain't no way. There ain't no way Robert De Niro would have went from the Idols to Cape Fear. There's just no way. Like, when I'm watching this shit, it's like, first off, I lose the plot left and right. If you even take a fucking 30-second piss and come back to the screen, you've lost it. Because I get the message of it. I get what they're kind of going for. But I also understood what the Titanic submersible was trying to go for. And how did that work out? Not very well now, did it? I didn't think so. Man, I almost feel bad for Mike Dean because I feel like Mike Dean took an L in this somewhere too. Because, like, they got him looking crazy in the show. They got Johnny Depp's daughter looking crazy in the show. I don't really know what they were going for here. I mean, I guess I kind of do. Maybe there was a lot of Molly on set. I don't really know. Looks like they were trying to do some vintage style shooting. That kind of threw me at different points as well. Overall, yeah, put a fucking fork in that thing and send it on its way and make it sure it gets lost in the fucking baggage claim. Because that thing, my God. I mean, a couple of the records that came out of it, I guess we can salvage. But yeah, Weekend, we love you, man. But if you want to continue acting, whatever you just thought you were doing, do the opposite of that. Because that might be the start of something special. Because whatever that was, I don't know. So we wish the best for your Weekend on your future endeavors with the Hollywood industry. Because whatever that was, Chief put in the fucking call and left the voicemail because you didn't pick up. And he said, that ain't it. Music is the only redeeming part of the dumpster fire. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Legitimately, let me put the jokes over here. That was the only thing you can take away from that. Only thing you can take away from that. And hey, you know, what did Lil Wayne say? Without taking some L's, I guess without them, I couldn't spell life. And that was an L Weekend, but we love you. We know that had to be just a colossal mistake. Something that had to happen. You had to take a bump in the road. You've shot perfect attendance, perfect 100% so far. This was one time you're just getting, in fact, I'm not even giving you the participation trophy. You have to take this L the hard way, as we all should. That's not good, fam. You're going to get him next time, though. You're going to get him next time. Fuck, I feel like he did so bad he made more writers go on strike. Over 1,000 actors have signed off to the Screen Actors Guild that they will strike if their needs aren't met. And let me go read you some of those names because it is fucking crazy. Let me just read off the big names. So over 1,000 actors have now signed their letter to SAG, Screen Actors Guild, saying that they will strike if all their requests with the studios are not met. These new names now include Aubrey Plaza, Pedro Pascal, Charlize Theron, Ewan McGregor, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to tell you right now, I love all those people. and they've all done phenomenal things. Aubrey Plaza, great career. Pedro Pascal, just absolutely going nuts with The Last of Us right now. Charlize Theron, legend. Ewan McGregor, legend. Joaquin Phoenix, legend. R.I.P. his brother, River. Jamie Lee Curtis, legend. Just won an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once, much deserved. I know I've been covering the writer's strike since day one. It feels like I've been covering this writer's strike. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I was saying that the shit was eventually gonna hit the fan in diarrhea form. Shit had already hit the fan, but it was coming out as like a couple solid turds. This is a diarrhea fucking mess right now that they got on their hands. You got huge names. You got now the next season that they were going to do with The Last of Us to build on it. That's gone. That's done. Pedro was going to be in a bunch of different movies capitalizing off that they just got. That's done. Jamie Lee Curtis from the Oscar performance, done. Telling you, if they don't meet these needs quick and soon, it's going to get a whole lot worse real fast if it hasn't already. They better get this shit cleared up soon. I saw somebody had a timetable somehow that they came up with of saying either October or November. They got to get this shit cleared up by then because people forget something. You don't just shoot movies in 3 days. You don't just shoot new seasons in 3 days. You don't just write new seasons in 3 days. So whenever they come back up and running, there's still a delay because now they're just getting back in the groove and they're probably having to make that like where they have to adapt back and make that adjustment back. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be a quick transition. And it's going to probably make for some duds that we're going to see and get ready for a lot of straight to Netflix, straight to Hulu, a lot of original movies that are just going to be below subpar. Pros. But as always, I'm keeping an eye on that writer's strike, keeping an eye on the things that I think really need to be covered about it because it really is. I think it's gotten way out of hand and it just, I don't think people realize because they take their entertainment and they take their content for granted. It's like, you're going to be looking at a lot of bullshit here soon and wondering where the stars are at and who this guy is and why you just saw him in your class 4 years ago sitting behind you in English class. And now he's leading your Netflix original film and the writing sucks. Well, that's why, because they're not getting their needs met. And I think they're very basic demands and basic needs. And I think when you just look at all those people's catalogs alone, it's like, they don't deserve it. Come on now. As DJ Khaled would say, you're playing yourself. Don't forget, major key alert, loyalty to the ones that have been consistent, showed love to your studios. Major key alert, Lion! We the best. I should have just ended on Lion. But last two things that I wanted to watch, and then I'll get the fuck out of here with my ugly mug. Actually, I got 3 quick things I want to rattle off. Like a sprinkler. Let's go. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, out now, out today. Originally, or out yesterday. Fuck whatever time zone. Time's not real. Out today. Indiana Jones just came out, Dial of Destiny, and Harrison Ford is 377 years old, 77 years older than Chief Keef to be exact. And I just hope that this is his official retirement film. But with that being said, instead of Asteroid City, which I do plan on seeing soon, but it looks like they're already trying to filter that out of the theater, I am going to be catching Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny with my good brother Ricky P on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to be checking out Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. I'll give a short, brief review on Twitter, but of course an in-depth, extensive review next week on Pull Up a Chair, and I'm looking forward to that. I do think I'll enjoy it. The last Indiana Jones movie to come out was Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I had the honor and the great pleasure of seeing with my late, great, the GOAT, Grandma June. Thank you. I know you're up there watching, listening to me always. We appreciate you. And we always show you love, and thank you for showing love and watching over us as well. Last person to see an Indiana Jones movie with was her. That was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with her and El Padrino, who I will be battling tomorrow night on Sleepless Radio. But I am excited for that, and I think Harrison Ford will do a great job. I mean, one of the greatest, highest paid actors of all time. Say what you want about his roles, but he's been in so many pivotal and iconic movies. And it's Indiana Jones. Looks action-packed. I'm excited to check it out. The other thing movie-wise I wanted to say about a movie that came out 2 weeks ago, which I did call this one. This would be The Book of Tucker. Book of Tucker, I foresee the future. The Flash is officially declared a flop. Cheers to that. Fuck you, Ezra Miller. Rest in piss, Ezra Miller. You are somebody that I do not believe needs forgiven on something like that. I think you need to be jailed and bunkmates with R. Kelly. I think you are a sicko and a weirdo and a bum. And if I ever saw those weird compressed looking alien cheeks in my face, I'd fucking punch you in the teeth. So it's all love though. Yeah, I woke up with a smile on, and I will today. I will tomorrow as well. Don't get me twisted. Ezra Miller, though, you're a dirtbag. The Flash flopped. DC lost. Now it's officially over $165 million on the film. If it stays at this pace, it looks like at the very best at this point, they're going to be losing $125 million, maybe 100, depending on how lucky they get with a streaming service picking it up, which I'm sure would be HBO Max. But Ezra Miller, I called it. That's what you get. The Flash is a flop. I told you when you put out that movie around all these different movies coming out, I don't know who they thought they would sneak that by. But if you ain't getting it past me, I know you're damn sure not getting it past cancel culture. And cancel culture fucking handled that shit as they should have. Normally, I don't back cancel culture. Normally, I'm against how they operate. This is one time where I was like, hey, cancel culture, do I need to point it out for y'all? Get them. Go. Fucking work your magic. Go. You overlooked this one. Get him. This dude's a sicko. So it was cool to see that this movie flopped and people put him back in the fucking Flash. I saw somebody throw a coffee at him. Very JT style. It was like a 45-degree, 50-degree angle throw. They're like, take that vanilla bean, bitch. They didn't even throw hot coffee on him. That's how you know they think he's a bum. Because they were like, if we throw hot coffee on him, he's pressing charges for sure. Which is crazy that he'd even be able to do so. But no, Flash is a colossal flop. They lose over 160, or they lose 165 million, probably 150 million. I think we can call it that. Flash flopped. Superhero movies seem to be on the out, but at least as far as those ones go, not saying Marvel's are, even though Marvel's kind of took a hit. But DC movies, I mean, look at Black Adam and look at Flash. Take those movies back to back. They both lost over 100 million at the box office. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, they lost over 100. Fuck the box office. They lost over 100 million in total. They didn't even make that back. And I mean, granted, I know they got the money to lose, but I'm going to tell you the first thing about losing money. Nobody wants to do it. So I'm sure there's papers flying through the air and people are in shambles at the DC studio. Then the last thing I wanted to mention. Again, it's why I try to bite my tongue. And I'm glad that I didn't go too crazy on it before. But I apologize if any of us did on the pod. But I do believe that me and Snuka kept it as like a, wait a minute, let's see how this thing goes. Let's not just jump to a conclusion real quick. My last cheers of the night, thank you for being tuned in to Pull Up a Chair episode 45, is let's all celebrate real quick. Jonathan Majors is innocent. That bitch is lying. The bitch lied. And let me tell you, I'm sure that bitch is somewhere crying knowing that she just got busted. And I'm no musician, but I know how to play this one to a T. I would say, hey, bitch, the world's smallest violin. That Marvel money be marveling. That Marvel money be marveling. Trial hasn't started yet. Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. Trial has not started yet, to be fair. I don't want to fully go in on that bitch's line. Let me draw back. I've had a couple drinks on the pod. That's already been established. It's already been established. Let me dial back. Let me make sure I can take a look at both sides here. Because I like Jonathan Majors. And I always love to say that bitch is lying. Maybe it's just the man in me. It's the misogyny. But let's take it right back to what I said. Trial hasn't started yet. Let's let the trial happen. Let's let the evidence come out. Let's let the verdict come out. And we'll revisit it on a much later date, I'm sure, and I will be happy to do so. And I'll remember what I'm saying now, as I've said before. Jonathan Majors cracking this girl in the height and peak of his career just didn't seem, just my opinion, always take it with a grain of salt, always take it with a grain of salt. And I don't know why I said that like Donald Trump. Always take it with a grain of salt. Always take my opinion with a grain of salt. But no, I just never thought that he would just in the peak, at the top of his Mount Everest of his career, just fucking crumble it up and just throw it all away to smack some white bitch in the face. I just really, unless he was shit-faced plastered, didn't think that that was even plausible, that that would even happen. But again, let's wait to see how the evidence looks. Let's wait to see how it turns out. Let me not be the misogynist always that wants to throw the bitch under the bus and say, bitch, you lying. But you bitch you, as Snoop Dogg would say. But as for now, Jonathan Majors looks like he's in a good light. There seems to be good evidence. It looks like Iron Man threw the Tony Stark budget at him and said, go get that lawyer. Go get Cochran. The glove don't fit. The glove don't fit on Jonathan. Not our king. But on that note, thank you for being tuned in to Pull Up a Chair, episode 45. I know it's just been me holding down the fort, the Thunderdome Inspiration Station the past 2 weeks. But thank you guys for being tuned in. Thank you guys for watching the XXL Freshman List. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Had a blast doing so. Pull Up a Chair, episode 44 last week. If you haven't been caught up, I talked about the blog era with me, myself, all my demons, Emperor Zurg, and all my great decor. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for keeping me going. I love seeing the comments. Thank you, good brother Doom KRS3. Appreciate the love as always. We're about to get a phone call in. If you know, you know. Little post pull up a chair call. We will be on air tomorrow for something that means a hell of a lot to me. It means a hell of a lot to a lot of us. And that'd be Sleepless Radio episode 150. Queen versus Black Sabbath / Ozzy Osbourne. El Tucurtente versus El Padrino. 150 episodes in the chamber. The 150th is in the chamber for tomorrow night. To think that episode 1 was at the end of March in 2020, and we've started this thing that's went on so long, and obviously I can see the inspiration has trickled out every different which way direction. Looking really forward to it. Let me guys know who you got winning. Winners bracket showdown. Queen versus Ozzy. Black Sabbath tomorrow. 14-round showdown. Sleepless Radio episode 150. I'll be going live extra early ahead of time to spin a couple extra records just for y'all before we go live for this episode. It's going to be so much fun. Money in the Bank tomorrow with 3. Let's see how my predictions go. Pink Tape, go check it out. Diligent Derringer, go check that out. Derringer, go check that out now. Big highly recommendation of the week. Let's say keep our fingers crossed that the writer's strike ends soon so we can keep good entertainment coming. On that note, thank you guys for being tuned in on a vampire session. Very special, ultra rare edition of Pull Up a Chair when we do it. And this time it's just me holding down the fort. Thank you guys for the love. I appreciate it. Thanks for being tuned in. Let me know what you guys think. If I missed any music, anything that you want me to watch, cover, get hip to, maybe a wrestling match you want me to recheck out. Maybe I missed something. Love y'all. Keep the love high and the hate low. See you guys tomorrow and or today, depending on the time zone. Peace.